Now, while I was doing my research on free write time, I encountered that this year marked the centenary of Jack Kerouac. I don't know if you're familiar with Jack Kerouac. Um, Jack Kerouac is one of, okay, for me, he is definitely one of my inspirations and one of the most important literature figures of the previous century. Jack Kerouac also had a lot to do. I would say that he might even be the godfather of free writing activity. He was born and bred and raised in Lowell, Massachusetts. I was born in Lowell, Massachusetts as well. I did not discover that until after I had read his most important and the most known literature piece, which is On the Road. Now, the truth is that he was actually, even though he was born in Lowell, Massachusetts, in the US of A, he was not born and bred in, let's say, in a household where the English language would dominate. He was actually speaking French. Probably that Montreal wave was heading south during that period at his household. And this meant that he had also a quite marked, distinct accent, even until his late teenage years. I can definitely relate to that, even though I moved out of the States when I was about 11 and I finished my elementary school. But I can definitely relate to what he had regarding his marked, distinct accent, which, of course, I still carry along. So, the thing is that Jack Kerouac was actually writing down his stories, but once he had finished his trips all around the USA, which was the main topic of On the Road with his buddies, it was when he started to think about, okay, putting all this down to paper. And of course, release it later on, find a publisher and release the material that he had been writing about. Now, because that's what good friends are for, this is why the man you see here with the glasses, wearing the glasses, along with Jack Kerouac, Allen Ginsberg, who is also a very prominent, a very important author of that represented the Beat Generation period and the rock and roll jazz move scene around that time in the 50s, 60s, where the stories of On the Road were actually taking place. So Allen Ginsberg, as a good friend, suggested that Jack Kerouac, due to the fact that his writing was quite new in approach when it came to the American literature scene, at least, why not write down some advice, some pieces of advice regarding what is it that reinforces his writing? What is it that makes him want to write down in order to share with the people who have started to love his literature? So he came down with about 30 suggestions on writing. Well, it was called, and you can find that even online, as Belief and Technique for Modern Prose. Now, the truth is that I wouldn't really call it writing advice. It's probably more like writing reinforcement for writing, is how I would put it for sure. But it definitely manages to accomplish one of the prompts that he has mentioned in his Belief and Technique for Modern Prose. Something that you feel will find its own form is one of the suggestions that Jack Kerouac has made in his Belief and Technique for Modern Prose. So there is something that you feel, and you record that feeling through your writing activity. And this is actually the eternal struggle that our students are actually facing, is how they can be able to convey the messages that they have in their brain, what is it that they feel, how they can put it into paper, write down, record their experiences, their feelings, something that is definitely a struggle because we are conditioned from a school setting as well to make sure that we polish accurately and have the appropriate structure and everything that comes along with putting something into paper in order to be shared. Now, free writing is actually the opposite of all that because it's more or less something like brainstorming, but putting it down into paper. It is written in sentence and in paragraph form without stopping. That is the challenge regarding the free writing as an activity. So, of course, this means that it might be disorganized and it might even lack clear focus. However, it's a start. And this is what sometimes we want from our students to start to get into the process of lifting up their pens, finding an empty page in a notebook, and start to put down whatever it is that they are feeling at that moment. Now, as I mentioned before, this is meant also to be an activity that you can implement even for online sessions, and of course it makes